and thank you for joining us today at Financial Tech Tools. My name is Angelina Hung, and I'm the co-founder here. Today, we are going to talk about how to set up your online booking system. There are two main reasons why you want to set up an online booking system. Number one, you want to make it very easy for prospects and clients to book a meeting with you. Nobody likes going back and forth on an email. Nobody likes to wait for somebody to get back to them. Having an online booking system reduces the friction for a prospect to book a meeting with you when the time is right. The second reason is think about having a very clear call to action on your website. Think about when you go to the grocery store, you know exactly where the cash register is. Your book a meeting is the same as having a cash register on your website, your email newsletter, and social media. So that's why it's very important to have an online booking system. Now, there are several types of booking systems that are out there. There's TimeTrade, there's Microsoft Bookings, there's Calendly, and Acuity. Today, what we're going to cover off is Calendly. And the reason for that is because that's the one that we get asked about almost all the time, and it's a very simple to use and frequently used system. So let's get started. So let's start off with your home page. So when you're logging into Calendly, you're going to go into your account. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it up so that you can go into your account settings. Okay. First thing is you want to update your profile picture. Your profile picture should be a picture of yourself or your logo. Usually I recommend for solo advisors, their picture. Okay. And then you put in your name. So whatever your name is, and a little welcome message. So welcome to, in our case, we put welcome to the Financial Tech Tools calendar. And then you're going to scroll right down and you're going to set up your time zone. In our case, we have a Pacific time zone, but you can pick out whichever one that you are in, okay? Click Save Changes. Next, you're going to go into your branding. The branding is your logo. Now, the ideal pixels for that are 440 by 164. You can upload your logo in here and then turn off the Calendly branding and click Save Changes. My link. Now, this is important because you want to either put in your company name as the link or your name as the link because it'll be calendly.com/ and then make it easy. Integrations. Okay, so once all those things are in there, then your calendar setup is done. The next thing is you want to put in integrations such as your video conferencing. So meaning like Zoom, like so if you're on Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, GoToMeeting, whatever it happens to be, make sure you're logged in. So in my case, we use Zoom, but if you're on Teams, make sure like you click on Microsoft Teams, and before you click Integrate Now, you want to make sure you're actually logged in. Calendar connections, okay? Want to make sure it is actually synced to your calendar. So you can add in, you can sync it with your Google Calendar, your Office 365, or your iCloud. All of these calendars will connect. And like I said previously, you want to make sure you're already logged in. So then this way, everything goes through smoothly. Now that we've got the initial setup done, so this is something that you just set up one time. Then let's actually go into the actual calendar. So usually what I recommend are 4 types of meetings. The first meeting should be your 20-minute meeting. That meeting goes directly into your website, your email newsletter, your social media. That 20-minute meeting, it tells you really quick whether there's a fit with a prospect or not, right? So that's the only one that I typically make publicly available. Second meeting are 15-minute meetings, 30-minute meetings, and 60-minute meetings. Now, the 15-minute meeting, I usually say it's for like a quick catch up with a client, such as like doing an address change. The 30-minute could be a policy review or statement review. And the 60-minute meeting is the fact-finding meeting, the get-to-know-you meeting, or it could be an annual review meeting. So those are the types of meetings that I recommend. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to create the 20-minute meeting, okay? And then I'm going to show you how to clone additional meetings so then you can make the other meetings. So we're going to go into event, create, event type, one-on-one, and we're going to call this the discovery meeting, okay? You can call it whatever you want, but I usually say it's discovery meeting. Now, remember we had already set up like the Zoom in the previously. So we're going to click phone call as being one. I will call mine Vite. I always suggest that. And then I will also add a location and I would call it Zoom. So this is the second location. Writing out a summary of why they want to write a summary of why they want to meet you. So usually I would just write, thank you for connecting with us. We're looking forward to getting to know you. Okay. And here I would create the link. Now, in this case, because I already created a couple of discovery meetings, it's discovery-meeting-3. In your case, you probably just have one. So discovery-meeting. Okay. So, but you can create that link and we click next. Next is here, when can people book this event? The default is 60 days. I usually recommend 30 days, and that's because sometimes I just don't know what's going to be going on for me within the next 30 days. So that's why I just change it from 60 to 30. And here, custom, because we said it was a 20-minute meeting, I just changed it here. And then using, I set custom hours. So meaning I want to set specific types of hours. So we can go to list view here. I'm going to make it so that there's no meetings available on Monday and no meetings available on Friday. You can set it however you want. On Tuesdays, I would go like maybe like 9 to 12, and then maybe you deserve a lunch break. So then we'd go 13 to, so 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And then maybe on Wednesdays, you have like a BNI or a planning session. So I go 11 to 5. And then on Thursday, same thing, maybe 9 to 12 is okay. And then 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Okay. And I typically will add in a buffer as well, but sorry, let's just go back to the calendar view here. If I go in here and I want to change specific dates, so let's say on the 28th, I just want to change this date. So I click on that and I only edit this date because I know that, oh, I'm only actually available from 12 to 5 instead of 11 to 5, right? So you notice here. So calendar view allows you to edit specific dates, and list view allows you to edit like days on a weekly sort of basis, okay? Back to the buffer. I always add in 15 minutes beforehand and 15 minutes after. 15 minutes so that I can prepare for the meeting, and then after the event, 15 minutes so that I can do my follow-up. Additional rules for your availability are here. Invitees can't schedule within 4 hours. That's the default. I usually suggest at least 24 hours just because I would like to know what's going to happen like the next day sort of thing, right? So I usually go 24 hours. Just a suggestion on anything to do with reviews. I would usually suggest maybe 3 to 5 business days. And this way you can go and gather all your policy statements, your investment statements, whatever you need to prepare for that annual review meeting. And that's done. Next, the other thing is that I go into our additional options into the questions. Now, I want to be prepared for this meeting. So meaning I ask them for their name, their email address, their phone number. Please share anything that will help with the meeting. But then I always suggest to the advisors that I've worked with is that we should add in this one question to make our discussion meaningful for you. Please let us know what you would like to chat about. Okay. And then I go in here and I make it check boxes, and it can be insurance planning for the advisor. It could be retirement planning. Obviously, you put in your services. So life insurance, as an example, maybe it's group health benefits. Right? So it could be any of these things, right? But you can just put it in. RSPs, okay? And then include another option. The other thing is like you could be saying receiving an inheritance. So you can center that around like life events, getting married. Okay, so these are the things, right? Click save and close, and then that's done. Next, I go into notifications and cancellation. Notifications, I always set up a 24-hour email reminder that goes out ahead of time. So then this way, if they've booked in like maybe a week or 2 weeks out and they don't have it stored in their calendar, an email will automatically go to them, okay? Or they forgot, right? There's also an email follow-up. I usually don't set this up, but you can do so. The reason why I don't set it up is I usually will send a follow-up email immediately after the conversation I've had with my advisor, right? In your case, as you would set up an email follow-up to go directly to your client, right? And then confirmation page, you can have it so that it goes to the Calendly page. But for people that are working with marketers, I usually suggest that it gets redirected to a thank you page on your website. This way, then you can gauge if it is working or not, right? So how many people are actually booking? Click save and close. Okay. And let's take a look at the live event. So here we go. So let's go in and book in on the 27th, okay, 2:30. And look, name, email address, phone call, you have a Zoom, okay? If I click phone call, it'll automatically prompt for the phone call, okay? If I click Zoom, it will send you the details, you and the prospect, the details. And then here you can put in whatever, okay, you want, okay? And also same thing here, right? So they can tick that off and you click schedule the event. So that's how you create an event. Now, if you want to clone the event, we're going to go back, okay? And this is the one that we just made. I would typically just click clone, and then the same thing pops up, and then you just make all of your adjustments and change the amount of time. And that's how you clone the event. So that's it. That's how you set up your Calendly. The next video, we'll talk about where we would place your Calendly on your email signature, on your website, on your social media, and on your email newsletter. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video today, and we'll talk soon.